I'm in my upside down pound and I got that upside down pound and I'm about my upside down pound.
As pompous as it sounds, like I always wanted to be an entertainer. Like I always knew that, even from a little kid. But you know, as a kid, I was always writing rhymes, but I was scared to tell them to anybody until I was sort of pushed into the rap thing by my friends. That showed them the rhymes. And we used to go to rap nights and stuff like that, but I would never consider rapping in public until we went to like these competitions that used to be at Dingwalls in Camden. And so it was my mates kind of pushed me into that. And when I got it, the adrenaline rush, that nervous energy of being on stage, competing, I kind of knew then that was what I wanted to do. But I never thought it would end up somewhere like this. I just took it from there naturally into writing songs and records and like putting out records. And that went okay, you know, nothing special. But you know, I used to run a little night in Carnaby Street, and I met Mark Ronson there, and I ended up being in his band for a while. And I never would have thought I would have taken it there. And that experience of rock and roll on like a higher plane, that just made me fiend for the lifestyle. I didn't want to do a 9 to 5 or anything like that. And it was a chance phone call from a friend of mine who I've met at Radio 1 actually when I was still doing music. And he was writing a sitcom for Lenny Henry. And he brought me on board just as a kind of consultant really on the script. And I was helping out with a few gags here and there. That's when I realised that I could write funny things. So I started in comedy as a writer, and it was producers really at the BBC who encouraged me to give stand-up a bash, you know, and the most natural thing to me was to talk about where I came from, the rap side of things, and so it's just part of the story. It wasn't a gimmick as such. So the rap just kind of became a part of it. So then all of a sudden I was like a musical comedian, but I was already a script writer as well to some extent. So those two things were there, and any stand-up will tell you there's a certain level of acting that you have to do when you're on stage. So I was learning to act without really noticing. And then I got like had an idea for a kids show, got that off the ground, acted in the first season of it, and sort of taught myself to act within that show, right? And then I started going up for auditions, and then I did this HBO drama where I was playing like a sociopathic killer, you know, and then now I'm shooting Law and Order. I'm like the new lead detective in that. Midsummer Murders, first ever ethnic, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm shooting a comedy up in Manchester called Give Out Girls, and I'm doing a lot of acting, you know, but like I say, I never really properly planned any of these things other than I knew I could do it and I knew what I enjoyed doing. So I guess my message would be, find the things that you enjoy, or the one thing that you enjoy, and just throw yourself into it. So I would say whatever it is, whether it's acting, music, you know, graphic design, video, photography, just get your stuff seen. And it's in a way, even though there's a lot of saturation, it's easier to get your stuff seen, at least by, you know, strangers and stuff, because of the technology that's out there. I never had that, you know. But yeah, the first thing is belief. You gotta really, really want it, and you gotta believe that it can happen. You can see it, do you know what I'm saying? You can be it. That's the view I always had. But I guess that was instilled in me by my parents. Plus my sister's like a successful novelist, and seeing her do it from nothing as well. If you're successful, the fame thing follows. There's a lot of people who want to be famous more than they want to perform. That's their prerogative. That was never really an interest of mine, and that sounds cliche, but it's true. I've just, if you ask me to define what I've done with my life, I've done what I've enjoyed, and people gradually started to take notice. That's the way I see it. And I've done a couple of high profile things now, and yeah, like every day I get recognised or stopped or spotted in the street. I guess the nice part of it is that people can recognise the heart that I put into my work. So literally 99% of the time it's just really positive, and people don't want to take up my time. They're just like, hey, you know, nice one, good work. Fame is not something that I'm interested in. Maybe if you asked me when I was 18, perhaps, and the money and that, but I've lived a whole life as a normal person, like, so I've lived a generation as a normal person, so it doesn't really faze me now. And if people think I'm aloof or like, you know, in some other zone, then they just haven't chatted to me. Simple as that. They've just sort of made up their mind about me from something they saw on television or whatever. But I'm the same guy. I don't think I'll ever change. The difference will be if it's at a stage where you just can't do anything without getting bugged. Do you know what I mean? I was in IKEA last night and I got bugged a lot. And I just thought, you know what? I don't want to be here. It's IKEA and it's like 9 o'clock at night. I know where I want to be. I want to be sat in front of the TV, vegging out, drinking a beer. But I'm in IKEA. That's part of married life. Do you know what I'm saying? I was already in a bad mood, but it wasn't to do with people coming up to me. It's because I'm in IKEA. If I was to come up to you for anything when you were in IKEA, it doesn't matter if you're famous or not, you don't want to talk to a stranger right now, you know. But I'm always polite, still, always, because it only takes one dude to spread the rumour, right? So you're in a rush, like a cab pulls up, you gotta get in the cab or something, or you're running for a bus or whatever, someone recognises you, you can't stop, so, oh sorry mate, and they go, oh that Doc Brown, he's such a knob. And then he tells his friend, who tells his friend, and then there's a bunch of people sat in the pub, and have you seen that Doc Brown video? Yeah, oh it's quite funny, and then someone goes, yeah I heard he's a knob. That's how it works, you've had that conversation. Everybody's had that conversation about someone famous. You don't really know, but you've heard it. Therefore, it's fact. Guy down the pub said it.
I'm about my upside down pound and I'm feeling richer right about now. Come on, I'm in my upside down pound and I got that upside down pound and I'm about my upside down pound and I'm feeling richer right about now. Come on.